All right, everybody, what's going on? My name is JP Morgan, as some of you may know, off of Telegram, founder of WickCity, founder of University of WickCity, the student group. Here, finally, is a long time coming. I promised that there'd be a YouTube channel, and here we are. The YouTube channel is going to entail of a few things. First and foremost, obviously, we're traders. Before anything, we trade. And so, specifically, we're going to be focusing on Forex and crypto. Um, right now, my focus has been on crypto for the last few months, as you may have seen me go off the market for a little bit in terms of the forex market. Um, but I'm back now. Crypto has taken off in the last few months. Bitcoin has just about reached all-time high levels, as you can see. And what we're going to discuss with this channel is just as the banner says. We're going to talk about crypto, forex, stocks, some mindset, and some motivation. And so that's what we're here for. So just to jump right into it, we're going to go over right now the analysis from some months ago, where obviously you see these red lines that were marked off now. For those who may not be familiar, who may not understand basic trading concepts, let's break it down for you. Each of these red lines or the boxes that you see are levels of interest. What I mean by levels of interest is places where I keep an eye on that I look at price at some point to revisit, right? So in the past, each red line has been revisited at some point. For example, this price at 5,500 was revisited back in March of 2020. Back in March of this year, we got a retest here. And once price passed any of these red lines, it was revisited at some point. For example, price passed the 6,400 point. It came back with this candle in April of 2020. Price broke this red line at the 7,400 mark. It came back and revisited at 7,400 in late April of 2020. And so that's for upside moves. Those were the upside uh, levels that we were looking at to get revisited. Well, let me reword that. Those were the downside levels we were looking to get revisited before the upside continued. Um, and each of these gray boxes were what we call resistance points. Resistance points meaning that at some point they were going to be hit and go back down. Once they were broken, they were tapped again, similar concept to the red lines. And once they hit, they would be rejected, which is why we call them rejection or resistance points, and price would decrease. So for example, you see here, price hit the 11,600 mark and dropped to 10,000, revisiting this gray line. And then once this gray box was broken, to put it in very simple concepts, very simple words, once this gray box was broken, Bitcoin exploded because there was nothing to stop Bitcoin at any point previous. At any point, price had never revisited that point since December of 2017. Now, this is important because these gray boxes here are resistance points and support levels that were created at some point during the upside move. And this is more for those who are already familiar with the trading concepts we use. We marked off each of the downside candles prior to a strong upside move. So for example, we have a bearish candle here, and that's the last one before this major upside move. So with this wick, before this wick was created, we had marked off this gray box here as a price that would get revisited eventually. And the same concept there. It would get tapped again, 13,600 would get revisited, increase. Same concept here, and so on and so forth. Now, this is important because right now we have yet to get these prices revisited at 15,000. And right now we see Bitcoin has been on a bit of a tear, but realistically, it is due for a correction. Now, personally, this is not financial advice in any way, but before Bitcoin would go down to that 13,000 point, I'd be looking at 17,200 area. Why is that the case? Well, think about what we said just 2 minutes ago. The last downside move for a major upside. So, with that idea in mind, we are looking at 17,000 as the price point, price area, whatever you want to call it, before that major upside. That has not gotten revisited yet, so I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin dropping down to 17,300 area, maybe even filling this wick at the 16,000, the mid 16,000, which would realistically bring us down to these two price points. If those here were broken, we could end up seeing something like this. See something like that. Oh, excuse me. And then, like we mentioned, those price points get retested, and we'd see that happening. And if those were broken, what we could see is that downside move continuing here. And then we could see that happening. And then from there, I'd expect Bitcoin not to drop any lower. I can't see that happening personally, but obviously anything can happen. And from there, I think we could break all-time highs. Now, this is just my analysis. Personally, this is what I'm looking for to happen just because of the momentum that Bitcoin has been having. I don't think that we will be revisiting the 13,000, 12,000, even 11,000 areas for Bitcoin. I think that worst case scenario, we will touch the mid 13,000s, highest 13,000s, and then shoot back up and break all-time highs. But Bitcoin is due for a correction. Now, the big question, should you buy Bitcoin? Should you buy cryptos in general? Well, I'm not a financial advisor in any way. I don't recommend that you take this analysis as financial advice, but my personal opinion, I'm heavily invested in cryptocurrencies. Why is that the case? Well, the difference between right now and 2017, for example, when people first became familiar with Bitcoin, is because all of this move, all of this right here was done off of retail. Retail meaning people like you and I, people who are not trillionaires, billionaires, who don't have the funds to really move an entire financial market. So why do I say not to necessarily take my advice? Well, because financial advice, I can't really give it. But me personally, I think Bitcoin has a real opportunity here to break all-time highs. And the difference right now that a lot of people are seeing is that this isn't just retail money. This is institutional money that has a lot of the upside moves recently has been institutional. Institutional money has put their bet on cryptocurrency recently. We can see that with companies like PayPal instituting the purchasing of Bitcoin. We can see Cash App doing the same thing. Robinhood, a stock brokerage, introducing the opportunity for people to buy cryptocurrencies. Companies like GBTC, these are funds who have invested money in Bitcoin. The Winklevoss twins, these are billionaires who have invested their money into Bitcoin. A lot of people who are familiar with financial markets and investing on a large level have put their trust in Bitcoin. And so for that reason alone, I would say personally, I'm heavily invested in cryptos. Now, I just wanted to share this video here. I think it'd be nice for everybody to kind of take a look at it. It's the CNBC report of 2013, the day Bitcoin hit $100. Now, if you think back to 2013, what any of us were doing, I was 13 years old. I was ending the eighth grade. I didn't know anything about Bitcoin. I'd never heard of it. But here you have people who had heard of it. And if you watch this video, it's hilarious to see. It's hilarious to see that people who you would expect to do some sort of due diligence on a financial market, on a disruptive financial tool such as Bitcoin, uh, they didn't do any research. Clearly, they walked into an interview like this. They asked questions that weren't relevant to Bitcoin that they thought were relevant. They thought they were, kind of gotcha questions. And unfortunately, people with this mindset miss out. They miss out on the money. And that was the point of me bringing this up. And I think you should watch it because you don't want to be these people. You don't want to be the people who looked at an opportunity and didn't take advantage of it. So, with all that being said, um, this was just an introductory video for YouTube, kind of test the waters a little bit. Again, if you have any questions, you guys have me on Telegram. Telegram, my name is JP Morgan, WickCity. The group is public. You can join. You can DM me. The email will be in the description for those who are curious. And with all that being said, I'm signing off and have a great night, guys.